we are moving to Australia. I'm delighted to say we have... What? Yeah, we are.
It's exciting news.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But we've got Orla O'Dwyer with us, who has genuinely moved to Australia and is tearing up trees down there. Orla, how are you? Good evening to you.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on today.
It's a busy week. You're very good to make some time for us.
Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, exciting. Looking forward to our grand final on Sunday. So busy but exciting week.
So sport people always say, oh, we're just going to treat it like any other game and we're going to do what we always do. But you can't do that for a grand final, can you? You must be getting excited and you must be getting hassled for tickets and for media queries. So how do you try and keep some kind of focus? Or do you not? Do you just be like, yeah, I'm going to just enjoy every second of this?
Well, I think a big part of us, this time last year, 12 months ago, we were in the same position. We were in the grand final against the Melbourne Demons in our home ground, Springfield, which was pretty new at the time. And I think there was a lot of distractions going on with W Ward, which is the equivalent of the All-Stars, was on that Monday. And then we had Delta Goodrum outperforming at Springfield. And there was a lot of kind of unnecessary distractions that I think played effect in the game when we look back at it. So this year, we're kind of going with the kind of lay-low approach, which I like. I like kind of just doing the same thing I do each week, training hard, getting around the girls, and just kind of treating it like any game. So we're actually playing down in Melbourne this Sunday, so we're heading down Friday afternoon, and kind of a tight group as well. I think we travel well together. We like to stay in each other's pockets as much as we can and just focus in on what we need to do, and we'll train then Saturday morning, have a meeting and play then Sunday. So I think it's just really this week about enjoying the build up to it and everything that comes along with it, but also remembering at the end of the day it's just a game that you hopefully win.
How specific is the game plan week to week depending on the opponents? There's lots of sports where you have to exactly analyse every single thing the opposition does, but there are other sports where if you play your best game and you establish your patterns of play, that allows you to be dominant and eventually get over the line. With the way your two teams match up, and again, that's very binary, but with the way your two teams match up, is there a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B, or how much preparation are you doing about the opponent this week?
Yeah, like we always do a review after our previous games. We had a review Monday, and we have training on tomorrow, Thursday, so we'll probably start doing more of analysis on North Melbourne, who we're playing. We actually played them round 4 earlier this year, and round 4 is the kind of start of the season. So our team and their team as well has changed a lot with different personnel and also developing our style a lot better now and understanding what we need to do. So I think for us, and finals footy is kind of that way, that when it comes to finals, you just have to bring that pressure intensity, and it comes down to the end of the day is kind of who wants it more. And I think as a group, we've definitely got a lot stronger. We've adjusted to different situations where if it's throwing players in different positions, if we're playing save the game or win the game, we've done all these scenarios at training and worked on that. And I think we're just trying to stick to our style, and we know that that's what works best for us, a kind of fast-paced game with good pressure and intensity. And we know that North Melbourne will match that, and we just have to buy into what we have to do and also just have a bit of luck as well at the end of the day.
How long did it take to get over the defeat in last year's grand final?
It still hurts a lot of us to this day. I think those kind of finals, like I've been lucky enough, even back in Ireland when I played in Croke Park 3 times in finals, and I've won 2 and I lost 1 there. So similar here, I've won a grand final, I've lost 1 as well. And you always remember the defeats pretty in your head. And I think for me, just with that, it's just we learned a lot from it. And I think you analyse the games you lose a lot more than the ones you win. When you win, you kind of forget about it and move on. So for us, and it's pretty much the same team, we lost a few key players at the start of the season, but it's mainly the same bunch of experienced girls. So it's hurting a lot of us a lot more. We know what it feels like to play in finals, which is great to have that experience, but also knowing what it's like to lose. So I think a lot of girls are just ready to go, hopefully, and just give it everything on Sunday, and good trust in our coaches and ourselves too.
It's been a bit of a theme, certainly in the sports landscape here over the past couple of months, the idea of how a team can learn from defeat. It's certainly been the rugby narrative here. Whenever we've been interviewing any of the provincial lads at this stage, it's always been like, how have you got over the the Ireland defeat in the World Cup quarter-final. For you, how important was it that you had that win, you had that grand final win in the back of your mind, so that it wasn't a confidence hit? You didn't have any questions about whether or not I can do this. You had proved already that you can do it, and you've already got over the line. So you could actually look at what happened last year in a much more analytical way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that 2021 grand final we won, it was only my second season playing AFL, and kind of my first one, because the first one got kind of, with COVID in 2020, it got postponed. So having that bit of success early in the sport, I kind of thought we'd get to grand finals every year. And then to come up short in 2022's first season and to get to the grand final in 2022B, I think you kind of just have the expectation that we've won this before, we can do that again. But a lot of teams now, with the competition especially, it's only 8 years old. So this year especially, we've seen a good amount of new teams stepping up, and the competition has really evened out. There's no team running away with it. And everyone, like the top two teams, Adelaide Crows and Melbourne Demons, both got beaten this year. So testament to us and North for getting to where we are, and eventually they played them teams as well. So definitely the top two teams are playing each other, and I think it'll just come down to, at the end of the day, who wants it more. And we've kind of looked back at those scenarios last year and hoping if they come again that we can adjust quickly, as I said, with different people shifting around different areas and working on our save the game, win the game, if it's stoppage or if you need to get the ball in quick. And yeah, hopefully that will get us over the line on Sunday.
You mentioned that there's a tight-knit group of players there that has been relatively consistent. The same very much goes for the coach and the senior coach, Craig. He's been there since 2017, I think. So how does he keep it fresh, and how do you as a group keep it fresh, that it does feel new and exciting every season?
Yeah, well, Craig's been there since the start. He's one of two coaches to be there since the very start of AFLW. So he definitely knows his stuff and really loved across the group. And the same with the group of players. As I said, lots of them were there at 2021 when we did win that grand final. I think what brings the excitement is knowing these younger new players coming in, how much they've grown, how much they can add to the team, but also those experienced players that have been playing for 5, 6, 7 years, how they're just getting better and better. We're a very competitive team, whether it's anything we do. It could be a running session, a gym session, or even just some fun game of soccer we might play before in a warm-up. We're very competitive with it all, and I think that's what really driven the standards and our way of playing. And we've had a few different types of coaches come in, like defence coaches, midfield coaches, forwards coaches. So having that change up each year definitely brings a lot more insights into the game and their kind of ways of coaching too, which definitely has added value, I know, to our midfield, especially me. I play on the wing, so our current midfield coach has really brought those wingers into the game and making us run offensively, defensively, similar to midfield role back home with GA. So I think that aspect of it has definitely brought a bit of freshness into the team, and I think that kind of really helps us and keeps us on our toes and keeps everything so new.
Am I right in saying you got drafted in a rookie draft? When that happens, do they ring you up in advance and say, if we draft you, would you be happy? How does that work?
Yeah, so I came 2019. So rookie contract is someone who hasn't played the sport before. So you're allowed to sign a 2-year contract, I think, with a rookie contract. So yeah, I literally essentially saw that there was some good Irish players over in Australia doing well for themselves who played Gaelic football, and I wanted to give it a shot and give it a try. And yeah, lucky enough, Brisbane Lions was one of the teams who came forward, and they kind of, I think I got told maybe around February, March, and they announced it around May time, and then that pre-season started the following, I think it could have been September at the time. So it's pretty quick phase when it does happen, and it's kind of the uncertainty of you don't know what it's going to be, moving to a new country with a new team, starting a new sport. But yeah, definitely was happy I made the decision, and it definitely takes a lot for a team like that to take a chance on a player who's never played the sport before and come in and try get on the team. The
specifics of ending up at Brisbane, is that something that did you have other options, or was it really, this is the option here, off you go, take it?
Yeah, no, I had a couple of other options. I actually, I didn't even know Brisbane was a place in Australia before I came over here. I only knew of Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne. But I had some offers from maybe 2 other clubs, and I think Brisbane just had the right fit for me. They really wanted to keep my Gaelic style and didn't want to change my natural ways of playing from seeing clips me back here. So that was a huge part of why I chose the team, and happy I did at the end of the day.
Yeah, because it turns out they're pretty good.
Yeah, they've getting to lots of finals, so yeah, good one to choose.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes you make these decisions in life, and you could be the best player at a club that's not going very well, but it's not as exciting or as interesting or as invigorating as it turns out going to Brisbane has been. And the other thing is, obviously, you were born in Sydney, so it wasn't like this is a lot of people, I think, find the culture shock of moving to the other side of the world difficult to get over.
Yeah, well, I actually hadn't. I was literally just born here and then on a plane back home. So I actually didn't get to live in Australia. I think I was about just under a year before I left and went home. So I haven't actually been to Australia since. And it was just lucky enough the way it all panned out that when I knew that I was coming to Australia, that I get my passport that I had obviously up to date and ready to go. So that has helped me in massive amounts coming over here, especially during the COVID years when borders were closed and all that kind of thing. So just, the lifestyle over here, I love it and I love being part of it. And it's great to see so much more Irish girls come over now and I really adapt to that and buy into the game too. But yeah, lucky that the way it planned out and the lifestyle here really suits me and suits what I'm trying to do out here. So yeah, I really like it.
Like you are, as you well know, Ireland's first ever AFLW All-Australian, and like I wonder as well, ahead of a grand final, maybe it's not the time to be thinking about something like this, but do you realise and do you appreciate your own role in this wave of Irish players who've gone down there? This has been one of the most successful stories in Irish sport over the last 5 or 6 years, and you're very much at the top of that. Does that give you any satisfaction, any pride, knowing what you've done, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I suppose I think that I'm a humble person and don't like to think about it too much. But that 2022 when I got All Australian was a huge testament to how far I have come. And I don't think I realised until after everything was over and I looked back and at the year I had and how much it actually meant being kind of the first Irish female player to get it. And now with Niamh Kelly getting another All Australian earlier this week, it's a huge testament to her as well, and so well deserved too. And I think it's really created this path for Irish players and how Gaelic football has such translatable skills over here. And they keep going on about how fast Irish players are over here and what do we be eating back home in Ireland. But yeah, I think it's definitely great to be part of and seeing the success of it grow, and the sport's only getting bigger and bigger. As I said, we've 18 teams in the comp now, like the men's, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger with regards salaries and teams and lots of movement. And I can see lots more Irish girls come out here, and I have a lot on to me just asking about the lifestyle and what's involved and how it all works. So yeah, it's definitely nice to be part of the journey, and yeah, it's exciting to see how far it will go.
That's interesting, because I was reading a piece, actually, the Guardian have done a piece on this exact subject, the wave of Irish players to the AFLW. So it's not just Irish people who are talking about this. And the journalist Jack Snape spoke to Mike Horan, who you'll know obviously as a talent, as like a talent identifier, I guess, based in Ireland. And he'd have been responsible for bringing a lot of people over. And there's just a line in the piece where he says Horan believes the overlap between the Gaelic calendar and the increasing length of the AFLW season means the Irish proportion of playing stocks is unlikely to grow much further. But the salaries are getting bigger, the opportunities are getting bigger. I from my very uneducated position here, I can't see any reason why these numbers wouldn't keep growing and keep going to Australia.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously a hard situation. Like, I find that since the competition season has moved, where pre-season kind of starts now in August and runs through until December, really. It's kind of hard with that GA season back home. Like August, you're playing in All Ireland finals, and you're kind of playing sport all year round in that regard. Because I know Jen Dunn, who's out here now with us, she obviously won All-Ireland final earlier with Dublin this year, and came out. I think she came out just after they won, and within 2 weeks the season has started. So credit to her for getting onto the team in the first couple of weeks and being a solid defender at the moment. But yeah, you definitely see that there is a shift with what players are going to do, and the likes of, I think it depends on the teams as well. In Australia, a lot of them let the players go back and play with their season at the different counties, whereas other clubs mightn't be as pleasing with that, or the player themselves might choose to stay in Australia or to give AFL a big go. But yeah, as you said, the comp's getting bigger, the money's getting bigger as well, and you can definitely make a living over here from playing sport. And I think being from playing amateur sport back home and being part of camogie and Gaelic football, which you loved and you played your whole life, to have that opportunity to get paid to play and be a professional athlete is something that you've kind of dream of all your life. And I think the way AFLW has created that path, especially for Irish girls, has been phenomenal, even with the likes of Ash Maloney coming over and winning best first year player in her short time as well. So there definitely is a lot of overlap with this type of skills, and they do look for that kind of Irish player sense in a lot of teams. Like, the sport has developed into more of a running style game like Gaelic football. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what players do, but it essentially depends on where they are in their career, if they want to make the change or if they want to stay playing at home with their county, or if they can juggle both for a couple of years as well. But yeah, it's a hard call to make for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a call you definitely seem to be enjoying, Orla. We wish you the very best of luck this weekend. Thanks a million for making the time for us.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Thank you.
No worries. It's Orla O'Dwyer, a legend, it turns out, like, already. When she's listing off the various finals she's been in already at this stage, she's still only 25. It's like basically every year, which is not a coincidence.
It's an unbelievable career. Absolutely unreal. I'm not sure many of us would have predicted when this first started to happen a couple of years ago that the Irish and Australia would have had such huge success, and that's exactly what it's been. I think 4 involved this weekend in that grand final.